I want to welcome everyone. This is our 6th virtual Naperville Business Network meeting. My name is Michelle Sherritt, and I'm one of the owners and board members of the Naperville Group. I also am the business owner of 2 local Naperville businesses. The first is Q Camp, which is a full-service digital marketing firm that specializes in creating user-friendly websites, social media marketing, SEO strategy, email marketing campaigns, basically anything that you need to do digitally. My other business is Situated Research, and that's a usability firm where we have users come in to test video games, websites, and software. And since COVID, we've been doing all of that online. We have PhDs on staff, including my husband, Matt, who is also one of the owners of the group, who specialize in usability, and then they give feedback back to businesses to make their software more user-friendly. So a little bit about our groups. My husband and I started 5 groups in 2008 on LinkedIn, and just last year we trademarked all of the names. So we have the Naperville, the Northwest, North Shore, Oak Brook, and the Windy City Business Networks. The Naperville group grew to be the largest online networking group with over 2,000 members. And we still are the largest group online. To date, we have over 200 paid members. And to learn more about membership, you can go to the website, which is Naper, N-A-P-E-R, biz.net. And you can learn more about membership. We usually meet the first Thursday of every month, and we always have a guest speaker to help us to grow our businesses. Normally we meet in person at the city building in Naperville. However, with COVID, we've been doing this virtually on Zoom, and we will continue to do so for the remainder of the year. We offer many ways for our members to be able to advertise their businesses digitally. We also hold monthly happy hour events and quarterly formal dinners. So those are going to resume again at the end of next spring just because of COVID. So until then, we're simply offering our members just more advertising options. I would also like to introduce you to our head of marketing for the groups, Rhonda Seelinger. Rhonda, if you want to say hi or wave. Rhonda helps us with membership questions, group questions, lining up speakers. She does our social media marketing, and she moderates these virtual meetings. So thank you, Rhonda.
Everybody. Welcome.
Today's meeting is going to be recorded, and it will be available on our website blog page later on this week, again at naperbiz.net. If you have any questions during this session, please type them in the chat box, and they will be moderated when it comes to Q&A time. If you are on Facebook Live, I have included the Zoom link, so again, no questions will be answered on Facebook Live today. You need to log into Zoom, and Rhonda will be moderating those questions. Today's speaker is Betty Lawrence-Water, who is going to speak to us today about how to use soft skills to have good communication. Welcome, Betty.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much for inviting me today. You know, my background is vast. My career spans about 40 years now, and I've had a number of successes. So whether it was organizing a national convention, whether it's being a corporate executive, whether it is my current position now as a professor in public health and as president and CEO of a nonprofit organization, I have had to pull together all of my soft skills to make it a success. So today's world is so vastly different from even 6 months ago. But guess what? Having soft skills still is the key to success. It's more important now than ever. So today I'm going to, first of all, define exactly what soft skills are and why they're important. And I'm going to talk about how we can use soft skills to relate more effectively to others and to enhance our career, our businesses, and ability to get things done. Finally, I'm hoping that you will take away from this session some ways to apply soft skills to specific situations in your business and your personal lives. Now, one of the things we need to do first, though, is this. Before we begin, I'd like for everybody to look at this diagram and how many boxes do you see? If you can enter that into the chat room, I'd appreciate it. Your responses. Let's see. Go back. Sorry, I'm trying to find the chat box. Okay. Oh, here we go. Chat. All right. If you can just take a minute. Okay. Let's see. Rhonda says at least 35. Okay. Anybody else have a guess? Just a guess. What do you think? How many do you think? All right. I can't see everybody's, but I'll tell you this. They vary because everyone has a different perception. All right, 35. Some people may say 16 or 17. Some people may say 4 or 3 or 8. It all depends. Actually, there is no right or wrong answer to this puzzle. I want you to tell me what is missing. What do you think is missing? Okay, Rhonda says definition of a box. That's true. Okay, anything else? Okay, well here, I'm going to give you the answer. First of all, Rhonda was right. There's no definition of what a box is. I didn't say whether I wanted you to count the number of rectangular shaped boxes. I didn't say whether you were just to count the red boxes. I didn't say that whether or not you were supposed to count the boxes inside or out. It didn't matter. There are no clear instructions. I didn't give you a time limit. You know, life is kind of like that. So often, no matter what the profession, the business, whether it's large or small, there are no clear or exact instructions or definitions, and especially when it comes to working with people. So it's important for everyone to have a clear understanding of what the instructions are, what their expectations are. And the better you can do that, if you can facilitate that, the better the outcome. Now, it's a fact that, let me get out of this. Let's see, hang on, guys. All right, so now I'm not able to share. Okay, here we go. All right. It's a fact that all of the training that we do in our professions or our businesses, they prepare us to do a specific job. And the licenses, the certifications, all those credentials are very important. However, soft skills is the crucial part of getting things done and working with your teams. And that's how we get things done, through other people, through teamwork, whether it's your coworkers, whether it's your staff, whether it's collaborating and working with other organizations. It's a team effort. So now, what are soft skills? Well, the soft skills, there are a lot of definitions about interpersonal skills and communication skills. That falls in line with soft skills. They're those personal um, attributes that give us the ability to give feedback, accept criticism, suggestions, and work together and manage our time. Also, soft skills versus hard skills are usually those skills that we acquire over time in life through experience, through working with other people. Whereas hard skills, those are taught to us, usually in a classroom or on the job or a training that we subscribe to. So, but soft skills help us to work effectively with others, no matter where you work, the size of the organization, no matter what the industry is. It's the soft skills that help us to get things done. And taking time just to look at them, to examine ourselves and evaluate our own soft skills can do much to help us build a more effective and productive workplace. As well as, you think about it, your personal life is affected by soft skills too. And we'll get a little more into that a little bit later. Now, I'm just not saying this off the top of my head. Soft skills haven't gotten a lot of publicity, a lot of emphasis. A lot of people say, oh, we're talking about being PC or politically correct. But actually, a study done in LinkedIn in 2016 and in 2018, surveying over 3,400 people in various organizations, found that there were a group of soft skills that kept popping up amongst these organizations. And they're like, wow, there must be something to this. Some of the same skills are coming up, are being demonstrated as being needed by these other organizations. So since the LinkedIn study, other organizations like Harvard and Forbes magazine have also conducted studies, and they have similar results. And I put the sources to some of the studies for you in the PowerPoint, and this presentation slide deck will be made available after the presentation. So if you want to examine those more closely, you'll be able to. Now, which skills do you think were popping up on that list? And if you can post those in your chat box, in the chat box, whoops, okay, as well. Oh, shoot. Help. Let's see. Chat box.
I can also moderate this for you if it's, if you don't want to be going in and out of the chat box. I know I had put,
okay.
Sure, yeah, that just keeps it easier. No worries.
Okay, thank you. I'd appreciate it's kind of hard to present and facilitate at the same time. Thank you. Okay, so here we go. Here's some of the suggestions that we've received. Let's see, the ability to listen, the ability to gain consensus or agreement, having a positive attitude. Yes, those are all very important. Now, there are others though. Some of the others, if we can go to the next slide. Let's see. All right, it's not going to the next slide here. Will you get it to move? Okay, here we go. All right, so here we go. Here are the results of the LinkedIn study. And it shows that, yes, communication is important, organization, teamwork, punctuality or timeliness, the ability to think critically. Social skills are important, creativity, interpersonal communication, adaptability or flexibility, and having a friendly personality. Can you imagine that? Okay, so let's examine these a little more closely. So communication, some of those that I just listed could be lumped into communication, but I think they're important enough that we need to examine them as well. So communication is actually more than just the spoken or the written communication. It includes your body language, your presentation skills, your writing skills, certainly. But also there's another one. If you are the person who is able to explain effectively concepts to others, that falls into communication, and that is highly important. And during COVID, where we're working remotely, a lot of us are working in a stressful situation, this skill is more important than ever. And there's a way that you can improve your communication skills, and it's really easy. Just practice. Practice what you say. Learn to speak about bad news in a positive manner. I know that sounds difficult to you, but you can always build the scenario. Learn to speak without mumbling or speaking sharply or avoiding eye contact. You know, some people actually do those three things and they don't realize it. And that's where practice and speaking in front of a camera, recording yourself is important. Often people will speak sharply because of the region that they come from or their culture. My husband is from Brooklyn, New York, and New Yorkers are known for having that abrupt and very quick, sharp tone. So that, believe it or not, that has taken me years to get accustomed to after growing up in the Midwest. Avoiding eye contact, that gives people the feeling that you're not listening or what you're saying is not important to them. So learn to look people directly in the eye. Also, be aware of your nonverbal communication as well. Even on Zoom or Skype or whatever you're using, if you are a participant and you're viewed on the screen, if you're answering text messages or you're doing other work and that's visible to others, that communicates that you're not interested or that what the speaker is saying is not important. So you want to be aware of that as well. Being organized is another skill, and some people are organized more than others, and I realize that. But when you think about it, organization really, it can help you save time. It helps the organization save money because you're not redoing things. You're not having to go over the same information 2 or 3 times to 2 or 3 different people. You're not having to search for files, spending lost moments searching for files that if they were better organized, you'd be able to get right to them. So having a haphazard approach, I know it sounds cool and everything, but if you've ever worked for a boss, or if you are a boss who is disorganized, who's disjointed and all over the place, that can be very stressful to the other people that you're working with, and you may not be aware of it. So the other item is your ability to work as a team. And team is not just in your business or in your workplace. It can involve family members as well. And the bigger the organization, the more chance that you may be a member of several different teams. And this often happens. So there are different ways that you can work together in reaching team goals. One of them is to, first of all, define what you're supposed to be doing. Come to agreement on that. And then once you do that, you can work around building what needs to be done, the objectives. And everybody's going to have input in that so that they thoroughly understand. Can you think of other ways that you can help team members develop that feeling of teamsmanship? Okay. All right. Positive reinforcement. Yes, that's one way. Also, celebrating. You know, we work hard, we should play hard. So when the team completes an objective or a task successfully, celebrate it. Meet up for wine, that is wearing your mask, so practicing social distancing. But there are other things you can do. You can have a little Zoom toast if you're working virtually. You can send congratulatory notes. Let's see, yes, employee of the month, that works well. Just celebrate the successes. Ask if they need help and let everybody know they did a good job. Excellent, thank you, Megan. All right. Punctuality is also on that list. Punctuality is being on time is so important because nobody wants to wait. I don't care if they're a staff member. I don't care if they're clients or customers. I don't care if they're colleagues waiting for you to admit them to a virtual meeting. Nobody likes waiting. If you're in the doctor's office, you don't like to wait. Nobody likes to wait. So being punctual is highly important in our culture. Now, a lot of the work that I do is international, and what I found is that in the Asian culture, I work in China for Dalian Medical University, and timeliness is not, in our Western culture, we seem a little more fixated on that. So you want to make sure that you make allowances for different cultures if you're working with other groups as well. But starting on time and ending on time is critical. Now, can you think if your schedule gets backed up and you're running late, what kinds of things could you say or do to assure that people are aware of the fact that you know and you're running late? What would you do? How would you handle this? Can you put that in the chat box?
Do you mind if I just say it instead of type it in?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know how large the group is, but you certainly can chime right in.
I just thought it might be easier. I can't stress enough how important punctuality is to me. And I typed in here, I had done some business in Brazil once, and I literally was waiting hours to be picked up. It is not something, I thought like I had messed up. Did I miss the time? No, they just do everything so late there. And it was really a culture shock for me.
Exactly.
But definitely, I love what Megan wrote about just apologizing. And I think just texting someone, hey, I'm running late. People understand that. When you've made a good faith effort to let somebody know, hey, because life happens and things do, I mean, sometimes you can't help it, right?
Exactly.
But I do always my kids think I'm crazy, but like I plan ahead so that I'm not rushing at the last minute, so those emergencies are just that. They don't happen very often, but I think you can plan sometimes too that, so you're not always apologizing. To me, it's a pattern of behavior too. Like every now and then if a person's late, you get it. But if they're always late, there's some people who are just always late.
Right. And you know what? Being punctual honors the people who were there on time. If you're running late, you send a message or text a message just to let everybody know. It's not a perfect world that we live in, but certainly when you're aware that the other other person is running late, it kind of eases that that stress level. But starting on time and ending on time shows respect for the other person's time as well. And in our culture, you don't want to reward behavior. If somebody's 20 minutes late or half hour late getting into the meeting, you don't want to hold it up for that. So let's move on to the next one. Next slide. Okay, critical thinking. Now, critical thinking is the ability to use, hang on a second, I got something in the way, is the ability to use our imaginations, our reasoning, our experience, and data to help us understand and resolve issues for different things. Now, the other thing is that when we take the time to actually look at the problem, look at the causal factors, causation factors, and think about it, and then think up solutions or garner solutions from our group, that makes a tremendous difference. So we're not just haphazardly approaching issues or problems as they occur. We're actually analyzing the problem and getting to the root. Often the issue is just a symptom of the actual root problem. So you need to figure out what's causing it and get some feedback and input and ideas on how to resolve it. Now, the other item that is important, social skills, and these are comprised of several different factors. The ability, your eye contact, proper body language, whether you are an assertive or an aggressive personality, knowing the channels of communication, being able to accept criticism, staying positive in light of whatever the situation is, being teachable and not thinking that you're a know-it-all, but no matter what your position, learn to find those teachable moments. They help us grow professionally and in our personal lives as well. Always showing respect and that human side, conducting a meeting and having a smile, having a sense of humor, being able to accept the differences in people. Okay. Creativity is another one. This is an underrated skill, and I don't mean your ability to be an artist or draw or work magic with a computer. It means being the ability to find resourceful solutions to problems and things that are innovative that maybe someone has never thought of before. Have you ever had a situation where your creativity came into play and you actually were able to save the group some time or money or effort? Can you think of anything that you've done? Let's see, somebody's talking and I can't, oh, okay, it's me.
I mean, I have an example. It's pretty minor, but we were making a selection for, an advertisement that we were going to do. And we were kind of debating about what to emphasize in our ad placement. And instead of doing something traditional like a product or whatever, we brainstormed and just came up with a totally different idea to really talk about ourselves and kind of how we support people that use our products and services, and kind of making it about what we do, even though it was focused on us, but how it supports their efforts. And that kind of took the pressure off of like having to choose one product over another. And it was just kind of a different way of approaching, something. It's just a small example. I hope that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to share a quick anecdote with you. Some years ago, I was the chairman of a national convention. convention that would have 7,000 delegates from all over the U.S., from all 50 states, including Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. 7,000 delegates. I had a year and a half to recruit 500 volunteers. Of those 500 volunteers, I had to establish 26 standing committees. I had to conduct meetings and generate interest in people to work 5 days at a convention for at least 8 hours with no pay. Now how do you get people to do that? Well, one thing I did that was creative. When I sent the invitation, I called it a stay-at-home tea. I rounded up a list of 500 or 600 potential volunteers. And I sent each one of them a tea bag. And we had a conference call. I invited them to participate. So I knew all 500 wouldn't come, but I knew I'd get a certain percentage. And because it was unique, because it made it interesting, because there was a connection through the tea bags, we actually garnered more than 500 people. People were excited, and the convention turned out to be one of the most successful that they'd ever had. So this included the president at that time of the United States was the guest speaker. We had to get clearances for everybody. It was just a very stressful and tedious time. But because we took the time to make everyone feel special, they all came through, and it was a success. So let's move on to the next one. Being adaptable and having flexibility is a critical key to soft skills. Actually, can you think you've worked with someone who is set in their ways? They're not very adaptable to change. Can you think of the roadblock that caused you in getting things done? This is at a time when it's more important than ever that we be able to make changes on a dime. That, the technology is changing, policies are changing. We've had to adapt to a change in surroundings. If you're not able to dance with that, then you're going to stumble along the way, and it's going to bog down the efforts of the team in getting the job done. So it's important that we keep an open mind, be acceptable at least to trying new things. It makes a world of difference, and we move along much faster. Let's see. Next slide. Okay, our interpersonal skills, some of the things that I've talked about kind of overlap with that. But if you have not developed your interpersonal skills very well, it's going to be really difficult to communicate and interact with other people. Some people, all right, that's just, I see a typo. Some people with good interpersonal skills, they not only have strong verbal and non-verbal communication skills, but they're just considered good people to work with. Can you think of someone in your life or in your group who is just a wonderful person to work with? You communicate well, they are welcoming. Can you imagine once you go to a meeting or an event, have you ever taken part in an activity where maybe you've joined a new group, a new organization, and you show up and you're excited. You've read the mission and you're really excited about what they do. And you arrive there and no one welcomes you. You take a seat and no one introduces themselves. No one welcomes you at the door. Or welcomes you to the meeting, and you just feel out of sorts. So every team needs to develop their interpersonal skills where you have the ability to reach out to people, to be able to make others feel welcome. And it's more critical now than ever. Even when we're on in virtual meetings, I really appreciate the time that Windy City took this morning in introducing me to the key staff members and the people who make it happen. It makes me feel that I better understand the group. Also, that you are able to work together as well, that you're actually walking the walk and talking the talk. So among those interpersonal skills that we discussed are empathy, caring, showing compassion, diplomacy, having diversity in your group, helping others or showing kindness, being patient when you run into those rough spots, maybe someone doesn't quite understand, being patient and making sure that everyone knows what they're supposed to do, demonstrating respect, developing sensitivity. We work in a time where we have various generations working together, sometimes as many as 4 or 5 different generations coming from different places. And just realizing that is a major difference. I work with the disabled through my organization. And sometimes there are communication issues that we have, but if we're patient and understand what is happening on the other side, it just makes for a better group. Being sympathetic, if a member of the group is having a rough time, let them know that you understand and that we want to, if there's any way that we can assist you, to let us know. And finally, that friendly personality. People want to work with people who are friendly and upbeat, and people they like, basically. Sometimes it's a person who's just easygoing. You don't let problems fluster you or set you back or have a display of anger. You're optimistic and just a fun person to be around, regardless of the situation. Now, think about yourself. Do other people tend to come to you, to come away from you feeling better or good after they've worked with you or they've encountered you that day? That's my goal, that every person I meet, no matter how, comes away just feeling a lot better after our encounter, after working together. So how do you know when someone, how do you know that someone is coming away feeling good after working with you? Well, one way I know is often I get a little thank you message in a text or in an email from that person. Sometimes it's just the feeling, the ambiance that is generated that day, whether it's over a luncheon meeting or you're meeting virtually. You just get that feeling that all is well. Okay, so we've talked a lot about soft skills today. And if you can think of three of them that we've talked about that you can implement following today's meeting, that would be good. Normally I'd ask you to enter it in this chat box, but we're kind of running short of time. But think of just 3 out of the 10 that we talked about that you can employ immediately after today's meeting to make for a better workplace, a better effort. Just think about that and how you can achieve them. Sometimes it's just a little thing. Sometimes it's a bigger thing. But whatever it is, think about at least 3 of them and get to work on it today. So our discussion has come to a close, but I hope that your journey to improve your soft skills is just beginning. And I want to leave you with this. Just 3 quotes. They're just food for thought. And I love quotes because sometimes another person is able to encapsulate something I've been thinking all along, and they can say it better. But the first one is that soft skills get little respect, but they'll make or break your career or your business. That's from Peggy Kloss. She's the author of a book called it's called How to Tooting Your Own Horn, or How to Brag About Yourself Without Being Obnoxious. The second one I'd like to leave with you is from Stephen Covey. You cannot continuously improve interdependent systems and processes until you progressively perfect interdependent, interpersonal relationships. Just think about that. You can't continuously improve systems, interdependent systems, until you progressively perfect interpersonal and interdependent relationships. And the final one is from Jim Rohn. He's deceased now, but he was a well-known motivational speaker and an entrepreneur. He said, take advantage of every opportunity to practice your communication skills so that when important occasions arise, you'll have the gift, the style, the sharpness, the clarity, and the emotions to affect other people. And I'd like to add to that if you practice soft skills and your communication skills, it becomes second nature. You don't even have to think about it. Just like the task that you do on your job, many of them you can just, you do without even thinking about. Well, build those soft skills that we talked about today. Refine them to the point that you don't have to even think about them anymore, that it just comes naturally as you encounter people in your everyday, workaday, or personal lives. And I want you, I provided a reading list as well. If you'd like to learn more on the topic of soft skills, it's a big one right now. It's a hot topic, because we have come to realize that no matter your background, your schooling, your experience, if you don't have these soft skills, it just hinders your ability to work with people. So there's a reading list in the slide deck that you can request from Rhonda. All right, let's see. Next. And all right. If anyone is interested in connecting with me on LinkedIn, you can Google my name. Please do. I love meeting new people. I love building collaborations. I actually enjoy speaking. So if you have any other opportunities, I'd love to work with you. And hopefully we'll see each other again soon. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. And I think that was a really interesting presentation. Soft skills are definitely a critical component to success in business and in life. And I think you gave us a lot of wonderful things to think about. So thank you so very much for your time. If anybody has any questions or comments that they want to make, can you stay on just a couple more minutes, or you can see if
See, I just have a blank screen here. Let's see.
Yeah, that's what I have too, which is fine if you're done with the slides.
Okay.
We can share those out.
That's okay. No problem.
Yeah. All right, well, I don't see any questions coming through, so we can go ahead and end it. Again, thank you so much. Thanks for everyone who joined us. We really appreciate it. This was a recorded session, and we will be putting that on our social media pages, and I'll share it with you. So if you want to share that out, Betty, on your social media stuff, you're welcome to do that once we have the recording.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate it. And it's been wonderful working with you. Thank you.
So wonderful working with you as well. You guys all have a great day. Thanks again for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Bye.
Okay, bye.